making a little review of the Seat Thermal Compact XR. Few thoughts about it right off the bat. The field of view is extremely narrow, so if you're using this for basic like contract work and finding hot and cold spots, I feel it's kind of difficult for that purpose. For those sort of professional uses, you're much better off getting the regular compact version, which has a wider 36-degree field of view, versus this only has a 20. The application shown up there, that is honestly, I'd say, the strong suit of this device. Even in my case, pretty much just playing with it as a toy, the narrow field of view is kind of a pain. I'm about to do an unboxing as well as just a bunch of test footage I took. And then this here is the regular compact. So yeah, it's a much wider field of view, and that does make all the difference. I always wanted one of these for years, and I recently decided to pick one up because of a Black Friday sale. Got it for under $200. I did, however, make the mistake of I didn't realize I bought the micro USB instead of the C-type, but it should work with an adapter. Alright, so inside you got the camera itself, little waterproof case, pretty sturdy, sits in there nicely. And it's got, this is like a silicone cutout for it. And this is a pretty solid waterproof case. I wouldn't really test it waterproof, but I know that this will be fine in any old pocket. There's it hands-on. Focusing wheel. So the resolution of this one is 206 by 156, which compared to the FLIR 1, this is a much higher resolution. But the FLIR 1 also does a like hybrid where it uses a regular camera and it merges the image. So I don't know if maybe that's better. And 1,800 feet of detection, that seems pretty far for how small it is, but I don't really have a rangefinder or an accurate way of testing that, but I'm gonna go do some like samples and see what I could get out of it. So I did run into a little issue already of a Type-C adapter didn't actually want to work, so I had to take a knife and cut part of it to make it even closer contact-wise, and that seemed to do the trick. So now I can actually use it with a Type-C phone. But yeah, a bunch of unfortunate hassles by unfortunately buying the wrong one, but that's on me. Alright, next I'm going to do some various test footage at day and night. Yeah. So here's a lamp in the corner of my room. I'm going to switch to red iron. Feel like it's hard to see. Okay, there's the center point. There's hottest and coldest. So here's the uppermost part of the room. So there's the main pockets of hot air. Here's the vent. Interesting. The air should be on. That should not be coming out at 85. That's not good. Here is my kitchen. There's the microwave. That's the hottest thing. Or I mean, that's the microwave where the timer is. That's the coffee machine. In the other room here is my dog. This is a table set. There he is. You can definitely tell like he's a dog, not to mention I said it, but it's really hard to distinguish detail with some of these color palettes. I'm gonna see, is it maybe just not in focus? Can I twist it a little bit here? Seems pretty in focus, it's just not gonna be super clear. So right behind my dog here is a window, and it doesn't seem to detect or see anything beyond the glass. So I wouldn't say it's exactly dark out, but there's not much light. This definitely isn't really picking up too well ambient stuff. So I'm not that close to it, but it's like really zoomed in and hard to see it. Here's the street lamp. Again, I'm a good like 10 feet from it, but this is just so zoomed in that it seems like I'm much closer. It is nice that it has this mode to show the regular camera lay. You can even zoom in more. Gotta close that overlay to zoom. So I can tell just from the wheels are hotter that car was driven recently. Let's try and adjust the focus wheel a little bit. That seems to be the best. Predator type vision seems pretty good for finding them. So that is definitely important to note with this Seek Thermal XR. It is a very narrow field of view. Oh wow, I barely just saw that bird right there. Car moving in the distance over the water. Oh, he's flying away. Oh wow, it barely saw him. It does not follow motion very well. The refresh rate on these cameras is all pretty low. And just taking a look into the sky, this is actually showing me just the heat of the clouds right now. I don't see any reason really to point this at the sky, but you can, and it will see the difference. As a whole, I would say the Seat Thermal is very fun to play with. But because of how zoomed this is, if you were going to use this for something professional with like inspections of a house, I feel like you'd have a really hard time actually focusing in on what you're trying to do. This is definitely suited for outdoor use more than indoor. And also, as you undoubtedly heard during this whole video, that clicking happens constantly. And that is just the camera constantly readjusting to what you're looking at. Stop. As for some closing remarks, this is really fun to play with, but it's really just too zoomed in, and that makes it annoying to use. And because of that, I definitely don't think you would want this for any professional use. You would want a wider field of view. Otherwise, you have to like be in weird corners of the room just to like use it properly. So for professional use, I'd probably say the FLIR 1 is a better choice, or a more expensive camera. As far as just playing around with, like I am, this isn't a bad buy if you can find it on sale as well. But honestly, I wouldn't recommend this camera as of 2024 because it's going on about 10 years old and there's much better options.